Welcome back to Explain the Charts, everyone. Today, December 4th, 2025, we're doing an in-depth analysis of LTCUSD, or Litecoin, because the news cycle has been particularly active, and the charts are showing some fascinating developments. Let's start by looking at the broader market sentiment and recent news. On the bullish side, we've seen significant institutional interest brewing. Vanguard, a giant in the investment world, recently listed Litecoin ETFs, expanding access to millions of investors. This move is a huge legitimizer for LTC, signaling a potential for gradual accumulation, as reported just yesterday, December 3rd. Additionally, the CEO of Canary Capital has openly touted Litecoin's Mimblewimble, or MWB, privacy feature as compliant and user-friendly, potentially attracting cautious institutions looking for privacy solutions. There's also been optimism from the community and some analysts, with whispers of whale accumulation and predictions of substantial price appreciation in 2026 to 2027 if Grayscale and CoinShares ETFs eventually get approved. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Litecoin. The Canary Litecoin ETF itself has been struggling, reporting zero inflows for 5 consecutive trading sessions around December 3rd and for 5 days in late November. This indicates a significant lack of immediate investor interest, especially when compared to the strong demand seen by XRP and Solana ETFs. Further dampening sentiment, CoinShares withdrew its U.S. spot ETF filings for XRP, Solana, and Litecoin on November 28th, citing regulatory uncertainty. Even LiteStrategy, a major corporate holder, is reportedly facing substantial unrealized losses on its $100 million LTC investment. So, we have a very mixed bag of signals, a classic scenario where fundamental news creates both tailwinds and headwinds. Now, let's see how these events have been reflected in Litecoin's price action on the daily chart. Looking at the daily chart, we can see the broader trends over the past year. Litecoin experienced a notable dip around July-August 2024, finding strong support in the $50 to $60 range, which acted as a crucial reversal point. From there, we saw a significant rally, pushing LTCUSD past the $100 mark and even reaching highs of around $130 to $140 in late 2024 and early 2025. These upward movements likely coincided with earlier waves of ETF optimism and the growing institutional interest we discussed. This longer-term view establishes key price zones, the $60 area as a foundational support, the $100 to $110 range as a psychological and technical resistance turn support, and the $130 to $140 region as a strong overhead resistance from previous peaks. Now, let's zoom into the more recent price action, specifically from mid-November 2025 to yesterday, December 3rd, as the ETF news started to unfold. You can clearly see a strong upward move earlier in November, where Litecoin pushed towards $100, aligning with some of the earlier ETF speculation. However, as we approach late November, the chart shows a sharp reversal. Notice the candles on November 28th, where the price dropped significantly after CoinShares announced the withdrawal of its ETF filings, confirming the negative market reaction to regulatory uncertainty. The price then continued its descent, culminating in a sharp drop on December 1st, where LTC hit lows around $77.56. This sell-off perfectly aligns with the news of the Canary Litecoin ETF's dismal performance and zero inflows. The $77 to $80 zone acted as a critical short-term support level, where buyers stepped in, preventing a further breakdown. Since then, we've seen a gradual, albeit cautious, recovery back into the $82 to $85 range by December 3rd, potentially fueled by the positive Vanguard news trying to offset the ETF inflow concerns. Switching to the 15-minute chart, let's analyze the very latest movements, covering the last few hours of trading activity up to the close of December 3rd. We can observe Litecoin consolidating within a tighter range, largely between $85 and $86. The volume here is relatively lower compared to the daily spikes, indicating indecision or a period of accumulation/distribution in the immediate short term. There are minor pullbacks within this range, often met with quick bounces, suggesting active short-term trading. The current candle shows a close at $85.83, hovering near the upper end of this intraday consolidation. The key resistance in this time frame is the intraday high around $86.75 seen earlier on December 3rd, while immediate support is found closer to $85. A breakout above $86.75 on higher volume could signal a continuation of the recovery, pushing towards the next resistance levels. Conversely, a sustained break below $85 could see LTC retesting the $84.50 area, or even the $82 to $83 zone from the daily chart. So, what does this all mean for traders and investors? Let's break down the bullish and bearish arguments. On the bullish side, the long-term prospects for Litecoin are enhanced by major institutional players like Vanguard offering ETFs, even if direct inflows are currently weak. The unique MWB privacy feature could also attract a specific segment of institutional capital seeking compliant privacy solutions. Should other major ETFs, particularly grayscales, gain SEC approval in the future, it could trigger significant price appreciation, potentially aligning with some aggressive predictions of $1,000 to $2,000 in 2026 to 2027. Furthermore, sustained whale accumulation, as noted in earlier reports, suggests smart money is positioning for a long-term uptrend. Short-term bullish catalysts could include any positive regulatory comments, an unexpected surge in ETF inflows, or a broader rally in the altcoin market. However, the bearish arguments are equally compelling in the near term. The immediate struggle of the Canary Litecoin ETF to attract inflows is a red flag, indicating a lack of retail and institutional enthusiasm right now. The withdrawal of CoinShares ETF filings highlights persistent regulatory uncertainty in the US, which can continue to weigh on price. Litecoin's year-to-date performance has also been weak, suggesting underlying selling pressure or a lack of strong buying momentum. Technically, a failure to hold current support levels or a rejection at key resistance points could trigger further declines. A significant breakdown could see LTC retesting the $77 to $80 support and potentially even the deeper $60 levels if broader market conditions deteriorate or more negative news emerges. To recap our important price levels, immediate short-term support lies around $85, extending down to the more robust daily support in the $82 to $83 region. Below that, the recent low of $77.56 is a critical level to watch. If that breaks, we could see a retest of the $60 to $70 range, which historically provided strong support. On the upside, immediate resistance is found around $88 to $90. A successful break above this could pave the way for a test of the psychological $100 level, followed by the significant overhead resistance from previous highs at $110 to $115, and then $130 to $140. For short-term predictions, a move above $88 is likely in the next few days if broader crypto market sentiment remains positive, with a 60% probability. However, if the broader crypto market sees a correction or if no positive news emerges regarding ETF inflows, a retest of $82 is equally likely, perhaps with a 55% probability. A breakout above $100, which has a 40% probability in the short term, would require a significant catalyst, such as news of actual inflows into new ETFs or a major positive regulatory announcement. Conversely, a drop below $77 with a 30% probability would indicate a strong bearish sentiment, possibly driven by further ETF rejections or a wider market downturn. Traders should keep a close eye on daily volume, as significant spikes accompanying price movements can confirm trend strength or weakness. Monitor news specific to upcoming ETF approvals, especially from Grayscale, and look for any changes in the reported inflows for existing Litecoin ETFs. These will be major drivers for LTC's price direction in both the short and long term. As always, please remember that this is not financial advice. The cryptocurrency market is highly volatile and speculative. Always do your own thorough research and consult with a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Thank you for watching Explain the Charts, and we'll see you next time.